Assalamualaikum and good morning. How are you all, my student? This is DrRosmaini again. I'm returning to a lecture of this service management course titling Managing Capacity and Demand for Chapter 9. Okay, I hope we are ready and we can start the lecture. So basically, in this Chapter 9 lecture, I'm supposed to help you to understand and attain a few learning objectives. There are 5 learning objectives. Basically, the first LO is I'm supposed to enable you to describe at the end of the course the strategies for matching the capacity for service and the rendered service demand from customers. Secondly, I'm supposed to enable you to be able to recommend what kind of overbooking strategy for rendering services, particularly during a peak time or peak season. For example, this is essentially important for hospitality industry, for example, like hotel and also airline. So at the end of the course, you should be able to apply some technique of linear programming in order to prepare a weekly work shift schedule for your customer. This is important to ensure that the continuous service business, for example, the 24/7 service business like hospital and airline, they can operate continuously 24 hours a day and all the time. And I'm supposed to be able to, for you to prepare a work schedule for part-time employees in order to support full-time employees, for example, like in services like fast food restaurant and so on. And lastly, I'm supposed to enable you to be able to explain the yield management and how it is being applied in the real service environment. So yield management means that with the so much resources you have in hand, so how much of these resources you can fit into the demand of the services by customer so that ultimately you can attain between the capacity and demand and yielding services for the level of almost 100%. Okay, in this chapter, it is all about matching the service capacity that you have in your organization in order to align and meet the customer demand that normally varies from time to time. Okay, perhaps you remember when you took the microeconomic class in which they discussed on the demand and supply curve. Okay, this demand and supply curve basically propose to you the general tendency for customer is that when you increase the price, right, the normal effect in the market is that the quantity of the possible service supplied to customer will be decreasing. However, when you bring down the price to the lower level, like at this level, and then ultimately, or almost automatically, customer will respond with the increased quantity, or in other words, demand for that service will increase. Okay, that is normal. So, in either in the case of price increase or price decrease, customer normally look for the equilibrium point in which it is most reasonable for them to make decision. So that at that equilibrium point, normally customer can make the best judgment in order to take up the service or not. Okay, let's take an example for the car washing business. Okay, it is a service industry. So nowadays, month of December, ending of the month, it is normally raining, particularly late in the evening, right? So normally people with car, they have a tendency to wash their car frequently if the uh, environment or if the climate is hot, right? The car will tend to get, I would say, dirty easily with dust and so on. However, during this rainy season, normally car drivers they have a tendency to not to so much wash their car because they believe if I wash, even after washing, if tomorrow raining, then it will be dirty again. So the owner of the business for this car service normally offer for a promotion. For example, reducing the normal price for washing per car from 6 ringgit 50 cent to perhaps 5 ringgit 85 cent. That is a reduction of 10%. in hoping that by reduction of 10%, right, the customer or the car drivers will buy out this promotion and have a higher tendency to send their car for washing due to the reduction of the price, right? Remember that car wash business is a perishable service commodity in which you have the outlet to wash the car. If nobody take their car to be washed, then the time, the slot allocation for car wash will be perished if nobody take the service offer in that specific timeline. Okay, now you understand the basic situation of demand and supply. In order to analogy, as an analogy, you could compare this managing capacity and demand. Okay, there are two types of balancing between the low demand and high demand with respect to many business situation. First business situation, they call it this level capacity business service. Okay, level capacity business service means that, in other words, customer come to the service provider. Okay, for example, TNB is a facility energy supply company in Malaysia. So automatically, customer come to TNB because they need this basic service of utility and get energy for their business, for their home, and also for their work. Right? This is the level capacity type of business. The second type of service business is chase demand, right? In which the service provider got to come to customer, right? In other words, the service provider chase for customer to demand their service, right? So in this two situation, right, uh, level capacity type of business and chase demand type of business service, you could see from a few strategic dimension to balance between these two type of business services. For example, for dimension of customer waiting, okay, normally at TNB, there is unlikely many people wait for their service, right? As such, the waiting customer generally at low level. However, at the hotel hospitality industry, for example, hotel like Holiday Inn, normally customer waiting is at the moderate level or medium, okay, not so high and not so low, right? If you take a look on the dimension of these two type of service business in the dimension of working condition, you will see working condition in TNB or level capacity type of service business is normally pleasant, comfort, and stable. However, if you compare the working condition at this chase demand type of service industry, normally it's going to be hectic, right? Like in hotel, uh, customers and employees need to work hand in hand in order to achieve the service. So staff of the hotel need to work tirelessly to serve customer. It is kind of busier type of service business environment, right? This is to balance between this perspective of idling time and busy time, right? So in other words, if I were to ask you, if you were to work for a company, which company you prefer to work for? Is it level capacity type of service business or chase demand type of service business? What would be your answer? Well, of course, definitely you prefer ideally to work for level capacity type of service business like Tenaga Nasional, in which normally working environment is more pleasant, in which their service are demanded by public at large. It is a necessity, right? It is a, I would say, you can't live without. So such a business service environment, normally it is a preferred sector or environment to work for. Okay, in all cases, it is not normally that your company is a type of level capacity and the other company is of type chase demand, right? Sometimes certain services, it is a combination of both, right? They call it hybrid. At some category of business process, it is a level capacity type, and at some other level of business process, they apply for chase demand. So it depends. Now, let's take a look on strategies available to match the capacity and demand for business services. For example, this is a typical example that I presented to you. AirAsia is as the service provider. Okay, AirAsia has to manage their demand, and also they need also to manage their capacity. Managing demand for AirAsia, they need to balance out or to even out, to level out their customer request for flight. However, to manage the capacity, AirAsia has to ensure that the resources to serve this demand is always in hand. For example, the available flight, the pilot, the attendants, or the technician for technical service, and so on. So they have to balance out between these customers and also their internal capacity to serve these customers. How AirAsia manage their demand? Well, basically, one way to manage the demand at Asia, uh, at Asia Airlines, for example, is by segmenting the demand. Okay, at times, AirAsia segment their demands in the form of like hot seats and also economic seat. That is segmenting, right? In order to split between those who wanting or capable to pay more, or those want to save their costs. What else AirAsia does to manage their demand? In other words, they could execute in the form of reservation system and overbooking, one of the topic that we focus highly in this chapter. Okay, of course, AirAsia need to reserve their system of ticketing offer, and they somehow play out a strategy for overbooking to contemplate or compensate for people who are not turning up to take the flight. And Asia also offer for price incentive. For example, Asia offers those wanting to travel with a longer lead time, for example, the next 3 months or 6 months, they could offer very bargain price as low as perhaps 1 ringgit per seat for flight, those which is booked very much early or in advance. So in return, these are all the strategies done by Asia to manage their demand so that it is manageable or at the level field situation. For managing the capacity, how Asia chase you for you to demand their service? Basically, chase demand is managed by one way of another. They can use this strategy increasing customer participation. Okay, for example, you participate in their promotion to book early, or you participate in their promotion to go to the, I would say, discounted route, for example, going to Bali by the end of the year. So those are to stimulate customer involvement in getting the needed demand. Asia could also execute the strategy for sharing capacity in order to chase demand by perhaps sharing their leased aeroplanes with other low-cost carrier that are needing higher capacity to deliver to customer. Perhaps Asia could lease some of their aeroplane to some other player so that to level down their capacity, so that other associate or business partner may use their flight for their peak loading situation. So these are part of the things that service business company do in order to match or align between their capacity and also making it meet with the demand. And if you could meet the capacity and respectively with the chase demand, then you would say that you have attained a yield management of 100%. Now, let's ask, how come customer demand varies? How come customer demand fluctuate up and down? Why can't it be constant so that it is easier to manage, right? For one-way customer presence vary or fluctuate because the arrival of the customer itself, right? The arrival of customer to the airport, it is hardly can be made sequence, or it hardly can be managed in a schedule so that you definitely come on that specific time, right? Perhaps there are traffic jams, so the customer is late in arriving in the airport, right? So another reason why customer situation fluctuate, sometimes busy, sometimes less customer, because of the capability of the customer itself, right? The level of knowledge and skill is varying because of the some kind of hand holding, right? Not all customer have the same capability. Some customer can drive efficiently. Some customer does not prefer to drive. They may take train to the airport, like KLA Express, right? And another reason why customer situation fluctuate is the request. Okay, it is referring to uneven service time result from unique demand, because of course customer demand fluctuate because it also being influenced by seasons, or peak season, school holiday season. Those are fluctuating feature that make the request from the customer also fluctuate. And the fourth reason or factor that make customer demand fluctuate or varies is the effort. Level of commitment to co-production or self-service varies, right? Some customer can give extra effort. Some customer are not willing to go extra mile, right? So these are also major contributor for the fluctuation of customer demand or customer-induced variability or variance which is attributed from customer. Last but not least, why customer demand fluctuate is subjective preference or personal preferences introduce unpredictably. Okay, sometimes service provider introduce personal preference without expectation by a customer. All right, so the promotion perhaps is not expected by customer. Right, for example, you want to buy a car, right? And suddenly your preferred car is not available in their service, right? For example, Proton launch X50. They introduce colors available like red, okay, silver, white, and black. But you prefer is going to be blue, but blue color for X50 not available. So that is what they refer by personal preference introduced unpredictability by either service provider or by the customer himself or herself. Now, let's take a look on the strategies for managing the customer-induced variability, right? So the strategies are two. Basically, first strategy, accommodation, or it means to be accommodative. Or second strategy is to reduce, okay, the offering of the service. So for the first strategy on accommodation, in other words, the service provider cater for the workload or the additional workload. For the second strategy on reduction, the service provider, for example, like the hotel, they shift the workload to customer or to the people who are wanting to stay in the hotel. Okay. For example, in the type of variability in customer arrival, for the case of strategy accommodation, so the hotel will provide or will increase the number of staff so that they can help in entertaining or taking care of the customer who are arriving. Okay. On the other comparison, on the type of arrival for the business strategy of reduction, so hotel could request for 100% reservation, right? So no walk-in will be entertained. So hotel could do that in order to reduce the overload or having this unbalanced demand, right? In another perspective of the variability, we could take a look on the effort being presented to customer. Okay, do work for customer in the accommodative approach, right, in which everything being served, for example, even as like food from the restaurant will be sent to customer at their room, that is do work for customer, or reduce it, in which customer are not having the option for their meal to be sent to the room. Okay, so to reduce this load for the employee, so the hotel will load this job to customer, in which, well, if you want to eat, everybody must go to the hotel restaurant and you will be given a free dessert or free drinks, for example. That is reward increased effort, right? Of course, this table you could see in detail for a meticulous study at page 303 and shown at table 11.2 of your textbook. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's discuss on the aspect of strategy that business service provider could segment demand on their facility of service. For example, health clinic. Well, let me give some example like health clinic like UTHM PKU or Pusat Kesihatan University. Okay, what do you think at PKU? In which days this PKU will receive more number of patient or student? In other words, in which day PKU is most busy? What do you think? Okay, of course, definitely you will say that early of the week is the busiest, right? For example, on Sunday and Monday, they will be very busy. But ending to the end of the week, like Thursday and Friday, there will be less load or less busier, right? So this graph is a histogram that the researcher collect the data from a health clinic. It is the health clinic works from Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, right? They notice that as many as 125 perhaps patient come to the clinic. Okay, and moving to the middle of the week, it goes as low as 85 patient come to the health clinic. And then approaching the weekend, right, so it slightly increased for up to perhaps 92 patient for that particular day. So this kind of fluctuation from high to lower and then slightly higher is called unstable demand, right? Of course, health clinic or even Pusat Kesihatan University expect the best is every day at perhaps 100 level of patient coming to their Pusat Kesihatan, for example. Of course, that's the best. However, business service provider cannot predict this kind of constant of demand, right? So they must predict for unexpected demand, be it very busy or be it less busy. Okay, in this health clinic situation, basically, patient will come on Monday and Tuesday. Most of them are walk-in patient and also some of them with appointment. So in order to leverage down the customer arriving, or they call it smoothing, so administrator at the health clinic could plan out the patient into certain category. For example, if load is high for that health clinic, perhaps their nominal service level is 100 patients per day. So some of the appointment being set or scheduled on Monday and Tuesday perhaps could be brought forward into Wednesday and Thursday, so that this will slightly level down. And it will pretty much balance out at the nominal level for around 100 patients per day. So this health clinic has done that kind of a leveling or smoothing effect, and upon smoothing demand by appointment and scheduling, so they statistically successful to achieve this kind of situation, right? In which Monday, Tuesday up to Friday, upon after smoothing, they can balance out that on Monday, 85 patients come to the clinic. Okay, on Tuesday, 89, and the rest of the days, like Friday, become 114. However, most of this part is basically become appointment, and here mostly walk-in patient. So as the measurement of the survey says, the result of this smoothing leads to overall positive effect. For example, patient scenes increased by 13.4%. By having this kind of arrangement, doctor can see more patients in comparison to smoothing situation. Second positive effect is time spent with patient increased 5%, in which doctor can discuss or talk with patient slightly longer time, right? So that they can discuss more detail of their patient's disease or patient's problem. So smoothing effect is important in service providing business sector, right? So that they can level out or balance out between the capacity and the demand available at their service outlet. Now, let's take a look on this aspect of one strategy to balance out between the demand and supply of services. They call it discriminatory pricing, right? In other words, discriminating the price or the pricing. Okay, here is a national park that provides a camping facility for people for public. Okay, and this camping park or camping place perhaps is a public kind of park, right? And in the olden days, they practiced a flat fee approach in which anybody could come at any day and they will be charged for 2 ringgit 50 cent, right? So, however, they think that this flat fee service is not favorable in terms of maximizing the use of resources. So, they engage a consultant of time planning to balance out the demand and supply for the camping services offer. So, the consultant proposed for the 4 package of experience type. Experience type 1, experience type 2, experience type 3, and experience type 4. Okay, for experience type 1, the park open for on Saturday and Sunday, on week 10 and 15. So number of days available to open for package 1 is 14 days per year, and the daily fee is priced at 6 ringgit per day. Second package type is offered on Saturday and Sunday, week 3 and 9, 15 and 19, including some special holiday, right? And how many days offered within the year? Available 23 days, and significantly reducing price to 2 ringgit 50 cent. Okay, and type experience 3 is offered on Fridays of week 3 and 15, plus some other week days at week 9 and 15, and which are not belonging to type 1 and 2. So how many days available for people to engage camping activities in the park? 43 days per year. And see the pricing, it is offered, it's only 50 cent per day to camp there. And the rest is considered available for camping season, which is considered free. How many days available? 78 days per year. In comparison, in the previous practice of the park, that they offer flat free for $2 ringgit 50 cent. Okay, by having this kind of strategizing the pricing or segmented pricing, or in other words, discriminatory pricing, we could see that in the new implementation after discriminatory pricing, they have this statistic. They collected the data and they present it as here. Okay, so in the overall performance in the olden days, they managed to serve only about 25,977, or in other words, about 26,000 campers inside the park for the whole year. However, after they moved into the differential pricing strategy, they found that they could offer more campers to camp at their park, which is 29,000. That is about additional 3,000 of people able to camp in the park, right? So this is how we balance out available resources, so as we don't have that too many campers do camping at only particular day, in which we shift some of the load into some other idle or less loading days. So as such, we could maximize the utilization of the resources. So this is one way how the park offer for pricing incentive, so that the overall utilization of the park can be maximized, in which almost all days there are campers do camping at their park. So this is what we call balancing out between the demand and supply, so that customer are available almost all days, 7 days a week, and 24 hours. Okay, this is about 30 minutes of my lecture. I would say that let's stop here first, and I'll continue after 10 minutes break. Okay, uh, see you soon.